Thank you very much, Johnny, and welcome back to the dating game, everybody. And it's time now, Francesca, for you to choose your date and make one guy very, very happy. And all right. One shoe off.
Here she is, the little doggies, the little cupies, the little babies. And isn't that wonderful? Water cleansing the body, the soul, the extremities. Immersion is the only answer.
Thank you for watching another edition of Man with the Show. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. Some bad news we got. In fact, we got it a little late. We didn't know this happened. This happened at the end of September. There is a classic adult star, a veteran of the business, who's done a lot back and forth. Not only adult films, but some low-budget horror, teenage romps, some mainstream movies such as Another 48 Hours and Airplane. But what she was mostly known for was, if you're not familiar with Russ Meyer. Russ Meyer was a guy who made some risque adult films. If you're not familiar with his stuff, I mean, some of his stuff is great. I mean, it's other. Note, most of the women in these movies are well endowed, I would have to say, on there, or top heavy, as you could say. And one of them, she just passed away recently, and that is, if you're not familiar with Kitten Natividad. Kitten Natividad was this Mexican hot dancer who basically, she came up from Mexico, and Russ Meyer found her and basically put her in movies, and she's been in a lot of stuff ever since. You saw the little bit, she was on The Dating Game. She was in the Gong Show movie as well. And like I said, a lot of other things. Lady in Red is another movie that mainstream movie she was in as well. We're going to read this off of Variety. Kitten Natividad, beneath the valley of the Ultra Vixen, star and burlesque legend, dies at 74. Francesca Kitten Natividad, the go-go dancer who became the cult culture figure when she was cast in by the sexploitation film director Russ Myers in Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, died Saturday of kidney failure. Well, this was back in September, after suffering from cancer at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, according to her friend Susan Perry. She was 74. She adored her friends, cats, family, and fans. Her sister Eva wrote in a statement on Facebook posted by Perry. Born in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, Natividad moved to Texas as a child, where she became class president of her high school in El Paso. After moving there to California, she became a cook and a maid for actress Stella Stevens before becoming a go-go dancer and adopting the name Kitten. She met Faster Pussycat Kill 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 director Russ Meyer, though a dancer friend, and he hired her to narrate his 1976 sex comedy Up. She had already had breast implant surgery in Tijuana when Meyer paid for a second surgery, giving her an outsized proportions that would become her calling card. The 1979 satire sex farce Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens was co-written by Russ Meyer and film critic Roger Ebert, and yes, that's right, and film critic Roger Ebert, and stars Natividad as a housewife who both submits and inflicts a variety of sexual acts on her husband, a teenage boy, and a truck driver and a nurse. Natividad and Meyer never married, but they lived together for some 15 years, while the remainder of her career was largely devoted to burlesque appearances, nude modeling, and starring in certain porno films. she continued to appear on TV and mainstream movies. Navidad guested on The Dating Game and The Gong Show and had small parts including My Tutor, Airplane 2, Wildlife, Another 48 Hours, The Double D Avenger, which she appeared alongside with former Myers star and Adam Rifkin's A Night in the Golden Eagle. Chris Penn, who had also starred in The Wildlife, hired her to perform as an exotic dancer the night before his brother Sean married Madonna, and she appeared in music videos for Peaches. Navidad was diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent mastectomy in '99. She is survived by her sister Eva, her mother, her 4 nephews, and a niece. She was a classic star. I mean, if you have not seen these Russ Meyer movies, go out. Some of them are available out there on this particular site, social media site. Yes, YouTube has a couple of them there. But these are classic. They're crazy, especially Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens. That is one of the craziest movies you will ever see. You know, this is before a time period. You have to remember, when Valley of the Ultra Vixens came out, the porn industry was starting to make its turn into the wind, as they would say. You know, VHS was just right at that point. And the thing is, the adult industry, you know, they had their, you know, movies with women of all different sizes as far as the front end, the breasts. And when you have a movie of this nature, and Russ was ahead of his time. You got to remember, Russ was really, truly ahead of his time. In a way, he was telling the coming of, you know, the adult films that, you know, hey, listen, all different shapes and sizes, as they say in the business. You know, even though there was some, in the late 70s and early 80s, but, you know, later on toward the 90s, you know, you had that explosion where you had small, you had medium, large, athletic, you know, you had them all over the place. And the thing is, when you look at what Russ Meyer put out and what Kitten Natividad was part of, you know, it was just an explosion. I mean, very, very good looker. I mean, she was very beautiful, very, very beautiful woman. And like she was still doing stuff late in the years also. I mean, there was a couple things here and there that came out, and I think that was before the mastectomy. But like I said, you know, if you haven't, how can I put this? If you haven't seen his face, you probably have seen her breasts, because that's basically her movie was the situation. There were some movies, I believe it was Airplane, you know, the scene with the breasts jumping out on the screen. That was Kitten Natividad on there. But there are some great other films on there. I was friends with someone that was friends with Frank Gorshin, who at the end of his life was dating a woman named Haji. Haji was also, and they're no longer around either, was on another movie called Faster Pussycat Kill Kill Kill, which is another great film. It's one of these low budget actions, something that you probably would see possibly on Mystery Science Theater, but it's a little ultra violent, but classic film in itself. I mean, this is the stuff that you saw that Kitten Natividad was. These are the types of films that she was doing at the time. I mean, you go down her roster of films. I mean, it's a good length, a good mixture of Hollywood films, low budget stuff, horror, TV stuff, and you know, all the Russ Meyer movies. And you know, it's a shame. You know, see a woman that basically wasn't afraid to show herself off, as he would say. But do catch her stuff. You know, you can catch her bio. She does have an IMDb, and you can catch her films throughout the internet. I recommend buying them for prosperity. I myself have a collection of the Russ. I think I'm missing maybe 2 films of the Russ Meyer films. I think Up, and I forget what the other one is. But these are classics. They are classics. You know, no matter what you say, you know, whether, you know, the adults and stuff like that, these were were crazy, over the top stuff that the 70s could bring out to you. So rest in peace, Kitten. You brought out some great stuff in your career. Hopefully another generation hearing this will enjoy the movies that you put out and the appearances you've made in many other films. Let me know in the comments below your feelings and your thoughts on this situation. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.